this video, we're going to talk about discussions and how to create them, how to use them with your students. You're going to find your course, materials, and then here you're going to find add discussion. You'll have to do the settings. Let's say I found a video that talks about online translators versus people who are actually translators. So I want my students to discuss that and write their opinion on that. I want to add this link, for example. I'm going to copy the address. I'm going to paste it here and give it a name. Attach. Then we have to give it a date. Now you have two options here. You can leave the discussion open, or you can give it a date and a grade. So let's say that we want this for next week. And if I do this, this is gonna appear in the students' Schoology page on the upcoming feed. If you don't, they will have to go into the materials and find the discussion. Now here is where you enable grading, but you can leave it ungraded. Here again, as we mentioned in another video, you can add rubrics so that you can grade their post with a rubric and the items that you decide. So for example, it has an introduction, takes care of spelling, uses connectors, and so on and so forth. Let's take a look at these icons that we have here. If you click this individually assign, that means that you can assign it to individual students, or if you have formed grading groups, you can assign it to one grading group. So let's say that you're doing a project where different groups in class have to deal with different things. You can send a different video to each group so that they can discuss. Then you have to use your imagination here. So if you do that, it will tell you who you assign it to. You have to write it here. Let's say I want to assign it to Juan. I'm gonna do it like that. If I have a grading group, it will show here too. I just have to type the name of my grading group. You can take it out, you can remove it if you want. Well, here is where you align with the standards or the objectives. You can check yours. Mine would be foreign language, grades K-12, and you find yours. So I'm gonna do one randomly, this one for example, and it will add to your objectives. Here is where you log submissions. That means that from a point on, students cannot be adding up more submissions or cannot post any comments on this. So let's simulate that we want to log this one. Here it will explain logging disables the ability for students to make submissions. And here you can say log now. Now it's unlocked, or log on and then set a date. So for example, this date. This is where I make it visible to students, or I can hide it now. And here, if you have this on, it means members can see other responses before they post their own response. So if you click this, they can read the others and then they can post. But if you unclick it, that means that it requires members to post before revealing other students' responses. So if you want them to be original, you can leave this off. Or if you want this to be like kind of a discussion where they ask questions and reply to each other, you can leave it on. It depends on what you want to do. And then you can copy the same discussion to other courses that you have. I'm going to go ahead and create this one. Well, if you set it to be a grade, it will show in the upcoming events, as I said. And this is what it will look like. And here they have the link to the video. If you want to add any more comments, or this is the same as your students are going to see when they open the app, the discussion, you also have these icons here to attach resources, audio files, links, files, okay? And also something very interesting about this is this key over here to remove formatting. What is this for? Sometimes students tend to type in Word documents, and this is very usual, for example, for Spanish students, because here in Schoology you cannot add accent marks when you write a comment. So students type it in the Word document and then paste it here. When this happens, you want to tell them to remove formatting. Click this key here, and that will not keep the formatting that it took from the program that they were using to type. And that's how you get rid of the unwanted formatting. And then you just say post, you or your students. If they post a comment, it will show below. Here you also can expand or collapse, scroll to the top. As they comment, you will find all the comments here. It will show the number of unread comments or posts and all the number per student. You just have to click here. Now this is an unreal one because I didn't want to show the name of my real students, so I cannot have a list for this, but you will in yours. Let's also say that you wanna grade those that didn't reply. You come here to edit grades. Well, this is the only student that I have for this course. This is a fake one. He is actually a teacher that is working with me for this, and you will give him a grade. Okay, so he didn't reply, so 0, and you can add a comment. You didn't reply, or post a comment, and you show to student and save the changes, and it will say here, so it will keep here. As they add comments, for example, they are going to be able to say like and also reply to the comment. Now I cannot reply because this is myself, so I cannot reply to myself, but they will have the option. I'm going to delete this one if I'm not happy with what I wrote. This is as far as it goes for the grading. But what if I don't want a grading discussion? For example, let's go back to the materials. In the settings, I'm going to say edit. I'm going to remove enable grading, and look at this, because one more icon is going to add. Well, it doesn't show here. Let me do one more thing. Well, here it is. When I had it as graded and I removed it, it didn't show. So I had to create a new one. Well, when you create it from scratch, if you decide not to grade it, this icon will show. And this means that you can share the discussion with other groups if it is not graded. If you want to know more ideas on how to use this feature with your class, you can click on the button that you will find on the website, and there you can read the ideas, and you can also add your own ideas and make and post comments. Check that out.